Hello everybody, here we are on Tuesday night, and tonight's topic I thought I would talk about snacking, because I don't know about you, but these last few weeks have been incredibly difficult, and I don't think I'm any different to anybody else in terms of I don't know, just normal life is out of the window, and the ability to maybe eat sensibly all the time and take care of your health as best as you possibly could has not been necessarily right at the top of our agenda. We've just been trying to get through day-to-day life, coping with all the different stress and strains and the difficulties that's been thrown at us. So I thought I'd talk about snacking tonight, because I think snacking, this idea of just wanting to, we're at home a lot, we want to go and get something from the kitchen to eat. We're probably not even hungry. It's a habit. You might think about giving yourself a treat. And yeah, it's all probably, I know for myself, I just thought, well, we need to get a bit of a grip on this. So I thought I'd talk tonight about why snacking isn't actually ideal for us. And the reason why, in an absolute ideal world, we wouldn't snack at all. We just wouldn't snack. So I'm going to talk a bit about that. And then I'm going to give you some ideas as to how we can control snacking, and then some ideas when we do want to snack, how to choose some healthier options. So what is it about snacking? Because I know when I first started training as a nutritional therapist about 15 years ago, we used to talk about how important it was to probably have more regular snacks, eating small regular meals, and how important that was for trying to keep our blood sugar levels under control. And that's not actually the right advice. Of course, we're continually learning. The new science comes along and we're continually learning. So the reason why we shouldn't be snacking all the time is to just go right back to our ancestors from thousands of years ago. We wouldn't have snacked. We'd have had very, very few meals, and that was actually very healthy for us. It was very easy for our bodies to manage that. The body could deal with having less meals. That's what it was designed to do. And then we would eat, and their body was well adapted to digest and absorb and deal with that food and store nutrients. And then there would be potentially a longer gap before we might eat again. So the difference now is we're continually throwing food into the body, and it's not well adapted to deal with that for many reasons. So thinking from a digestive point of view, the body's continually having to think about digestion, food's continually passing through the digestive tract. It's got to deal with that. And in dealing with that, the body's got to be producing digestive secretion. That puts an additional burden on the pancreas, that has a big role to play in helping to digest food. And then once we've absorbed that, the breakdown from our food and the sugars and amino acids and fats that eventually find their way into the bloodstream, it can put an additional burden on the liver as well. The liver has to also deal with all this food. And from a blood sugar perspective, the body's trying to balance blood sugar all the time. So they're constantly getting this up and down effect happening if we're constantly putting food into our body and the body's having to constantly deal with it. The best thing to do is to think about fast and mini fasting. That's what the body really wants to do. I'm not talking about the fasting that you might think about going off to a retreat and fasting for days on end. I'm talking about the sort of mini fasting that you would do overnight, where we should have a good 12 hours between meals. But during the day as well, we should ideally be able to go between our main meals. And in that way, we're giving the body the ability to have a rest between digesting that food. And those mini fasts, if you like, give the body the ability to be repairing the body. And there's other elements and things, in terms of mitochondria and this anti-aging aspect that takes place. So we know now from a healthy aging point of view, the less often we're eating, the healthier that's going to be for us. So that's sort of a bit of a background. And from a digestion point of view, the less often that we're eating between meals, there's this sweeping action that takes place between meals and enables the gut to sort of cleanse and clear out debris and bacteria that can get stuck as it's passing through. And there's a sweeping action and a cleansing action that takes place. This isn't to do with what goes on lower down the gut and to do with bowel movements, but higher up from the stomach and the small intestine. There is this sort of sweeping action that takes place. And so the less often we're eating, it gives the body the ability to sort of cleanse and sweep through and clear out food and debris that may be lingering there, and bacteria that also may sort of gather in the wrong place that's passing through when we're eating food. So for many, many reasons, this gap and having a longer gap between eating is very, very good from a health point of view. Okay, ideal world would be that we don't snack, but I fully understand at the moment that many of us are eating too often. You know, we're stuck at home and the reality is it's giving us almost something to do. So how do we start to break that habit? Because that's what we're faced with here, isn't it? Maybe, you know, we've had months of being at home now and the ability of months of getting into bad habits, and we're no different in my household, and there's things creeping into the cupboard, and because they're there that I haven't bought, I'm ending up thinking of going to the cupboard and getting things to eat that under normal circumstances I wouldn't have. So of course, ideally, the number one thing we would do is to get rid of all that food from the house that we don't want to have, the biscuits and the sweets and the chocolate and the crisps. So ideally, we would just get rid of that food so it's just not there and the temptation is taken away from us. That's in an ideal world. If you've got a house full of people at the moment who don't want to comply with those rules and regulations, then okay, so we're going to have that food in the house. So what's the next thing that we can think about doing to try and help to curb this temptation? So if it's a habit, most of the time we're going to reach for this stuff when we're not even hungry. We don't really want it. It's just, for me, I'm sitting at my desk a lot or at home a lot. It's just giving us a break, isn't it, from what we're doing? So what else could we do to sort of break that habit, to stop us just walking into the kitchen and taking something that we don't want to eat? I would suggest doing something that takes you away from the kitchen. Maybe just going out into the garden, getting outside, having a walk outside, walk around the garden, having a walk along the road, doing something that just takes you away from that environment of walking into the kitchen. It sounds really easy, and yet in some ways it is, but it needs that conscious effort, and it's being very conscious to think, I'm going for a snack. Actually, no, I don't want to go for a snack. I want to break that habit. Okay, I'm just going to step outside for a moment. I'm going to go into a different room in the house. I'm going to pick up a magazine to read. I'm going to put the TV on and there's something on I'm going to briefly watch. Whatever it may be to take you away from that habit, because sometimes just by having 5-10 minutes away, you will be moved on. You don't want that snack anymore. So just have a think about trying to break the habit. The second thing to think about is just making sure you are actually eating in a way that's going to keep you full, this sort of aspect of what we call satiety and keeping you full between meals, so that there isn't an element of you getting a little bit hungry or your blood sugar levels are dipping and you're going to go and reach for something to eat because of that aspect. So do make sure maybe initially that you're eating your 3 main meals and making sure that those meals are balanced. So what I mean by that is making sure there's some protein, there's some fat in the meal, because they're going to keep you fuller for longer and they're going to stop these dips in blood sugar that can occur, you know, the mid-afternoon, mid-morning time when our blood sugar may dip. So if we keep enough protein and fats and not have too many starchy carbohydrates with your meal, it's going to help keep your blood sugar levels more balanced. And when we do that, and it keeps you in the protein, is going to sit in your stomach for longer and it's going to keep you fuller for longer, then there may be less of a temptation of you suddenly thinking, oh, I've got a bit of a dip, I'm going to go and reach for a snack. So think about what is in your meals. Make sure you're eating breakfast, because if you're snacking mid-morning, you're not achieving anything by skipping breakfast. And if you're not a breakfast eater naturally, think about just having a few nuts or something like that. If you don't think about eating, but you find yourself snacking between breakfast and lunchtime, having something that's going to try and sustain your blood sugar levels, help to sustain your energy levels so that you're not reaching for the wrong things mid-morning. The next thing I would think about is hydration. So before you go and reach for a snack, have a glass of water. Make yourself a cup of herbal tea. Are you actually hungry, or is your body mistaking the thirst signal for hunger? Because that can happen. So, you know, that's another thing to think about. Am I drinking enough hydrating fluids? Is it actual hunger? Or maybe I am actually just thirsty. Again, I've found myself probably having more coffees than I would do on a normal basis. I've noticed that. I'm trying now mid-afternoon to think, no, I don't want coffee, I want a herbal tea. And I'm actually feeling a lot better when I go and do that. So just have a think about your hydration levels. Another thing to think about is your actual stress levels. You know, if we're feeling a bit stressed, then the temptation may be to want to go and get something sugary. This is also linked back to keeping your blood sugar levels more stable. So just have a think about, are you feeling a bit stressed? Is there anything that you can do to try and lower that stress level? Of course, the first thing I always teach my clients is this aspect of deep breathing. And by learning how to breathe deeply, just taking these deep breaths, breathing in deeply for count of 4 and out for count of 4, trying to breathe deeply into the abdomen, that actually does really help switch the stress response and move you out of a sympathetic fight or flight stress response into the parasympathetic rest and digest. And potentially, if you're not feeling as stressed, then you may be less likely to want to go and reach for something snacky, sugary, crisp-like, something like that. So few ideas for you to take away to try and help move away from this habit of going to get snacks. Either you get some distraction, think about your meals, are they balanced, think about your blood sugar levels, think about hydration. So what other snacks can we eat? Because we're not perfect, and certainly life at the moment is far from being perfect. So, don't be hard on yourself. And I think the more we try and say to ourselves, don't snack at all, then the brain just immediately just thinks about wanting to snack all the time. So rather than just saying, I'm not going to snack, obviously try and find some distractions. But if that gets too difficult, what can you have in the house that's going to be a healthier option rather than the biscuits and the chocolate and the crisps? So I would always aim for having some nuts and seeds. Find something that you like, not your salted ones, ideally not peanuts. However, a peanut would be better than a packet of crisps. So think about nuts that you like. What do you like? Do you like walnuts? Do you like almonds? Do you like cashew nuts? Or just buy some mixed nuts? I like pistachios. I've got those on the go at the moment. And actually having to take the shell off a pistachio actually also helps slow down the amount you're eating, although you can get through quite a few of those. So always think about nuts, good fats, good fibre, good protein, fantastic mineral levels in them. Always a number one choice for me to think about. Something else you might like to think about, just going to eat half an avocado would be so much better than all these other things that you can pick up. The fats are fantastic for you in an avocado, and that's certainly going to fill you up and has absolutely no bearing whatsoever on weight gain. This issue about fats are making us fat couldn't be further from the truth. So an avocado would be a great thing to go and snack on. Maybe half an avocado. We in our family wrap up the other half in tin foil, keep it in the fridge. I find it's fine for the next day. So half an avocado might be something you could eat. How about buying coconut yogurt? Coconut yogurt, again, the good fats in coconuts, not sweetened with sugars or artificial sugars, all completely natural. I love, love, love coconut yogurt. You could just eat that on its own. I like chopping up a few berries, maybe a few walnuts. So a very small, we're only talking about a big dessert spoon of coconut yogurt with a few berries and maybe a couple of walnuts broken up into it. Fantastic snack to eat. It's going to be really good. It's going to really keep you going, and it's not going to be bad for you. I know I said about ideally in an ideal world we wouldn't have snacks at all, but as a healthy snack, great, absolutely fantastic. Or just eating a few berries, kiwi fruit, a pear. They're all better fruits because they are lower sugar options to reach for. So they would be good fruits to go for. Or end of the day, dark chocolate. I love dark chocolate. I usually try and get the 90%, certainly over 80% dark chocolate, but a little bit of that. I think it's every nutritional therapist always raves about dark chocolate, very low sugar content there. Don't get the snack bars. We think these snack bars are healthy, and some snack bars are certainly going to be better than others. But at the end of the day, unless you're very lucky, these snack bars are laden with sugars. They may be disguised as being healthier because they're full of dates, but dates are very, very, very high in sugars. So don't reach for the snack bars. Go for the sort of options that I've just mentioned because they're going to be much better for you and a much lower sugar option. So I think that's it for tonight. Hopefully I've given you a few ideas to help ease you through these really, really difficult times. We were all faced with different challenges. I don't think some people are really enjoying themselves, but for many, many, many people, it's a very, very challenging time. We've all got different challenges that we're facing. So we need to be kind to ourselves. But if you're looking for ways to try and reduce the snacking, I hope I've given you some good ideas. Just a few little updates for you. You may have noticed on my Facebook page, I'm putting out more information. I have a course that I'm launching very, very soon for IBS relief. Any sort of digestive symptoms you may have, it would be great for that. That's going to be coming really, really soon. Low cost, easy to download and watch. It's nothing to read. It's going to be very, very easy to follow. And I've launched a new group, a closed Facebook group, linked to digestive health, but I'm going to be putting more and more of my information into the closed group. So I'll be inviting you into the group very, very shortly. And you can probably join now, actually, and I'll invite you into that. So that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching. Always available to rewatch on my Facebook page, and my videos also being loaded up into YouTube as well. So more and more of those are going over there. I've got a YouTube channel, Peyton Principles Natural Health. So if you want to see all my backlog of Facebook Lives that I've been doing since January on this consistent basis, but all the ones I've been doing on an ad hoc basis last year, most of them are being uploaded into this YouTube channel as we speak. Not by me because I'm not technical enough, but someone is doing that for me. So thanks for your time today. Do add some comments, and anything you'd like me to talk about, please let me know. I'm really grateful for you watching, and I hope you always get some really useful information from these. So have a good week, and I'll see you all next week.